This is TWiT.
I often get on my soapbox about how technology has the ability to cause disconnection between parents and children and couples and friends. It's easy to forget how amazing technology is at connecting people and bridging ideological gaps. Our guest today created a tool to do just that. Vidya Narayanan, founder of UrbanAMA. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, Megan.
Oh, thanks for coming on. So first, tell us what UrbanAMA is.
So UrbanAMA is a platform for video AMAs. AMA stands for Ask Me Anything. Simply put, it makes video interactive at massive scale. It's a great way for journalists, reporters, politicians, and others to create engaging discussions. You host an Ask Me Anything session and kick off an AMA on any topic. Questions and discussions may also come in through Twitter and as tweets, essentially. So we've integrated UrbanAMA with Twitter for exactly that.
So should I pronounce it UrbanAMA or UrbanAMA? Which do you prefer?
We like UrbanAMA.
I like it. So what inspired you to create it?
Quite frankly, the 2016 elections. It's been a social media election in every way. Most of us consume news and information through social media. And on social media, we're increasingly seeing a shift towards stories, which really eliminates any type of interactions. And without interactions, the increased partisan animosity that we have going on in the country right now and a drop of faith in media that we're seeing are only going to get worse. And we feel very strongly about building a platform that is both video-centric and highly interactive. And that's precisely what we've done in UrbanAMA. So why UrbanAMA and not rural AMA? So a lot of people ask us about the name. It's really one of those names that clicks a lot with the younger generation. As you know, like Urban Dictionary, Urban Spoon, Urban Outfitters, they're all brands which have a positive connotation with the younger generation, which is increasingly going to be the population that is active on social media and consuming social media. And we came up with UrbanAMA, and we sort of talked it out with a whole bunch of user study candidates, and they all loved it.
Nice. What kind of topics would you see being the most requested, or at least most served from the platform right now?
So we are seeing a wide range of topics being discussed on Urban, from, say, politics to current affairs to sports and entertainment. Social issues, politics, and sports seem to invoke the deepest of discussions. Trump is always a popular topic. Marriage equality was a very popular topic. Race and gender issues get talked about a lot. Fantasy football picks was a spirited discussion. Also on the lighter side, we've seen topics around hair products, dating, music, sex education, comparison discussions like Amazon versus eBay, Sprint versus T-Mobile, and so on. People have even done translation AMAs, like say something and I'll say it back in Chinese or Russian. So it's been a wide spectrum of things.
So usually when you think of like the Reddit AMAs, it's usually an expert or some kind of famous person. In this sense, what does it take to start one? What do you need to know about to start one? What do you need besides the app?
Yeah, so of course, like when you are an expert on a topic, we've had some of those like professional writers. For example, we have some professional writers coming on next week from HarperCollins to discuss their upcoming books on Trump and mental health, the case for impeachment by Adam Lichman. So we have those kinds of people who have deeply researched and written about these topics. But also we have everyday people hosting AMAs, like broadcast journalism students and others who are freelance journalists, for example, who would pick up a particular topic that is either of national significance today or has personally impacted them today and start talking about it. The idea really is to create an engaging discussion among the community and discuss certain topics to see how ideas may evolve. So, for example, one of the discussions yesterday was on whether the government should be regulating what we eat because of the increased tax on carbonated drinks in California, for example.
And how?
So, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just curious, talking about kind of the scale, the different kind of approaches. You know, it could be just a random person setting one up, or it sounds like it could be a very kind of promoted, scheduled event. How are each of those kind of treated as far as like making sure that these AMAs get the proper or get enough audience to make them valid or useful?
Yeah, so we have, an engaged community, a part of the community that's almost regularly doing AMAs. Like these are people who are doing AMAs 5 to 7 days a week. And they don't typically schedule anything ahead of time. They just get on and, just start doing an AMA on the topic that interests them today. But we also have these scheduled AMAs where we work with, news outlets, media houses, and so on and so forth to, specifically set AMAs for certain dates. And over there, we try to, pre-announce them on Twitter, pre-announce them on Facebook, bring visibility on UrbanAMA, the platform itself, that this is something that's coming up. And many of the professional writer type of AMAs will fall under that category. That said, even with some of them, like Alan Lichman, for example, we're looking at hosting a series of AMAs on his book, Case for Impeachment, which wouldn't be like a single AMA talking about his book, but really getting into the depths of, like, say, climate change and what might that create in terms of, what it could do to Trump, or, the case for lying, or, there's just like a variety of topics, and he was going to tackle it in a series, for example.
So I noticed you could also request AMAs. Like if there's someone you want to hold an AMA, you can use the app to request one. How does that work?
So AMA requests are really about people expressing an interest in hearing about a particular topic, or hearing from a particular person, or say hearing from someone who has an expertise in a certain area. And people can upvote, anyone can request these, and people can upvote these requests if they're interested in an AMA. And we notify the potential AMA hosts of that interest, both within the app as well as through external channels. We are actually in the process of launching what is called an Ask Your Officials AMA series, where people can request AMAs from their elected officials and candidates for upcoming elections. Our mission there is really to enable people to speak truth to power by directly interacting with officials.
I noticed that there was a request for Sundar Pichai, an AMA with him. Have you reached out to him?
Not yet, actually. So that request just came in, and we are, in the process of getting the upvotes in and seeing, when it reaches a certain threshold, we will be reaching out to Sundar.
I'm an Android user. I would love to bring this up on an Android device. I know you're a former Googler.
Yes.
Just wondering, when do those two things walk into each other? And, hey, we've got UrbanAMA on Android. What do you think?
We will have an Android app in due time. Being a very small startup, we're currently focused on really building the freelance journalist community. We're building partnerships with a number of news agencies, publishing houses, media houses, launching the Ask Your Officials initiative. So we're really focused right now on building the AMA host side of the platform, but definitely an Android app is in the books.
Nice.
And so you did come from Google. You were working with Android engineers. How is it like to have been at Google, this giant company, and then to move to your own startup?
It's been challenging, of course. Google was a great place to be at, and it wasn't easy to leave at all. We've definitely had some tough days, but I am doing what I'm very, very passionate about. And with UrbanAMA and the team that we've been able to build, we have more than a fighting chance. And in a quarter or so, we'll start turning the corner on growth. And I think the possibilities then are endless. And at the end of the day, that's what keeps me going.
And you said in a Medium post that, you started this wanting to have a more diverse team than the team of engineers that you worked with at Google, even though you were in charge of hiring, and then obviously in charge of hiring at your startup, and you still haven't been able to do that. Can you talk a little bit about the difficulties that you've run into?
Sure. We have a small but dedicated team of engineers who basically adapt, learn, and get stuff done. Some of the new hires we've had haven't quite worked out that way in the end, men and women. As it happens, all of the women we were able to bring on board are no longer part of the team. That's a reality, and I've talked about that frankly. It's a fair argument to say that our sample size is too small and we can't really generalize anything from that. That said, I am a woman. I'm, fighting every day to keep the startup going.
And you're going to be talking about diversity in tech. You have some great Medium pieces that you wrote. That's how I found you. And so how do people get involved in your diversity in tech AMA?
Basically, the easiest way to do it is to download UrbanAMA on the App Store. It's UrbanAMA, one word, on the iOS App Store. those people who don't have an iPhone can participate over Twitter. Watch for hashtag DiversityAMA. I'll kick it off with a tweet around 11 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. And, you can follow along the responses on my Twitter feed at Hello Vidya.